Today is June 8th, 2021. I am calling to order the Diversity, Racial Equity, and Inclusion Committee, name to be changed soon to Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee as of June 7th, 2021. But we're all here. Please remember that this is a recorded meeting, and just be aware of what you're saying and how you're saying it. And let's move forward with our agenda. First order of business is to review our minutes from our last meeting. I don't have the agenda in front of me, so I can't see the date.
May 25th, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as amended by Susan for May 25th, 2021.
Second.
Thank you. Everyone has had a chance to review the minutes. Are there any other corrections that are needed? If not, I guess we can move on to the next item.
Oh, we got to vote on all in favor. Aye.
Okay.
I abstained because I wasn't there.
Okay.
So I wouldn't know if it was
You're not
accurate.
able to see your hand, so could you please verbally state?
Oh.
Rachel?
Or else I come to the covered porch when you're ready.
Okay, good, but I have to be here. So I can only come out after.
I see you, Susan.
Yes.
Me too. Sorry, I stepped away from the computer. Yep.
Okay.
Hi.
And Charisse?
Charisse is muted. Charisse, did you have a chance to look over the minutes?
I did not, sorry.
Okay, it's fine. Did we have enough people that are?
Yeah, we had a motion, we had a second,
Okay.
and all in favor, you got enough? Okay, good.
Good, we're good. Thank you.
All right. Can I just double check? Is Carly's not here, is she?
Carly
No.
said she couldn't make this meeting.
Okay.
tonight. Yep.
All right. Just wanted to double
I do
check.
have an attendance list I can give you. There's Bill. Hi.
Here's Bill.
The
Thank you. Now the
participants keep
expert can
flashing
take
on and
over.
off the screen, so I couldn't tell. It keeps going blank on me on the screen where you can look at the participants. People's names keep disappearing and reappearing.
I'll send you the attendance list at the end of the meeting. Okay. All
Okay,
right.
I'm pretty sure I've got it, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, Phil, we've called the meeting to order. We've had a motion to accept the minutes from our last meeting, and you may take the floor. You're muted.
You're
Still muted, Phil.
muted. Click on your microphone, Phil. You're still muted. Still muted.
There we go.
There we
Now
go.
you okay, great. Okay. We're all set. Great. Fantastic. Thank you for getting started without me. So do a quick review of the select board meeting last night. In general, everything went very well. I think the most important news is that the board actually voted to make our committee a standing committee with 3, So, I know there was going into the meeting there, many of us had questions about what the future of the board was of the committee would be. Is it 1 year? Is it 3 years? What the heck was going on? And we had no idea. But goodness is they took a vote. They said that they wanted us to be a standing committee. So that's it. So that's the good news. The piece that I didn't quite understand, and I may have to kind of lean on Tricia a bit, is how and again, I don't know that it's something that we need to hash out right now, but the whole election piece on where it's a 3-year assignment, but it feels like it's staggered for 3 people. There are going to be 9 people on the committee, and for 3 of those a group of 3, they'll be staggered.
1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Yeah. Yeah. So
basically,
basically, if you want me to,
I'll let you explain it,
yeah,
Tricia, because
so
I don't quite get it.
Yeah, based on the list that they had, it was basically alphabetical. And so they had the 9 people that said that they wanted to re-up. And so they just said, well, the first 3 people on the list would be 1 year, second 3 people would be 2 years, third 3 people would be 3 years. So if that's acceptable to everybody, it would have been Lauren, Carly, and Latasha would be the first up. So you'd be a 1-year term, and then you'd be automatically reappointed if you wanted after that. Rachel, myself, and Sharice or the next group, that would be 2 years. And then we have Susan, Joe, and Brian as 3. And if that meets with everybody's approval, it just means that it's so that not the whole committee is up at once. So what they did, Brian, you have a question already. Go ahead.
Yeah, because there's one name in that list that wasn't mentioned, and it's Phil's.
Right.
Are you not coming back?
No, I'm not going to be signing up for another period with the group. And actually, to be really clear about it, I discovered that the work, which I enjoy. I've never been, on a municipal board before, and we kind of talked. I think all of us kind of talked about that at the front end. But it's clear to me that to be an effective participant, on the committee, you really need to be able to, commit to the time and the effort and the emotional energy on long term, to do a good job. And in all candor, it requires a little more time and effort than I initially had thought. So, I had to give some things some consideration, and I feel as though I needed to make that decision to be fair to the team as well to be fair to myself. So it wasn't anything that came easily to me. I spent a lot of time kind of thinking about it. I hope that, and I mean this sincerely, I hope that folks feel as though my involvement with the committee was positive enough to help get us on the right path. This is new to everybody, and so everybody's kind of feeling their way through. And I tried to make decisions and kind of do things in a way that would set the committee up for success going forward. So I'm hopeful that I was able to do that, and that folks feel comfortable with that. In terms of the work, I will, always be available to do any kind of volunteer work that you folks have. If you're looking for someone to participate in one way or another, if you're doing other kinds of projects, by all means, please let me know. Happy to do that. Just not at this point in my life, I'm not in a position, to commit long term to like a 2-year or a 3-year, regular involvement. That unfortunately is not going to work for me. But I do want to continue, as much as possible, and where it makes sense, to participate. So I hope you folks feel comfortable enough, if need be, and you're looking for, an extra pair of hands or whatever, that you feel like giving me a holler. But that's kind of where that's where we are, and obviously I wanted to take an opportunity to tell the group that, and let everybody know that I've really appreciated everybody's commitment to the work. They were saying last night, I don't know how many of you actually watched the meeting, but they would say, different members of the board said, "Oh, gee, you guys have done a lot of work. You can't believe how much work you've done in a short period of time," and go on and on and on. The reality is none of that would have gotten done, were it not for the, for all of you and all the work that you guys did. I mean, that's really where it came from. And that's what it's about, and that's what it'll be about going forward. So I think that's really important. And, I certainly know that. I certainly appreciate that. The only thing that I feel kind of bad about is that it might be hard to communicate over Zoom, but I like to kind of get to know people. I like to have a little fun every once in a while, and I don't mind having a pop every once in a while either, So because we're doing it in this Zoom thing, it doesn't allow for that. So it doesn't allow for us to get to know each other in a little more, in what I believe can be a more meaningful way. So that I'm sorry we didn't have an opportunity to do. But other than that, glad I had a chance to work with you guys, and I think you're stuck with me for another meeting after this after this one, because we have this one plus whatever meetings we end up having through June 30th. So you're not done with me yet. You still gotta wait on the phone and say, has Phil logged in yet? Does he know how to work the doggone thing? But no, all kidding aside, yeah, I appreciate having had a chance to work with you guys. Thanks.
I wanted to translate something Phil said. He said pop. For you folks in New England, that same as soda.
Actually, Sharif, I was thinking about something a little stronger than soda. You know, something that rolls in somewhere between 90 and 100 proof, and it's just 51% corn. So yeah,
I speak the same language as you, Phil.
We miss you. We'll miss you.
Thank you.
Absolutely,
I'm
yeah.
gonna be bugging him all the time. That's all I know.
Right. So any other questions about the board meeting?
You
Again,
might mention our select board liaisons.
oh, yes. We also have a select board liaison, thanks to Latasha. And that person is Pat Wojcik. So she'll be working, with the committee as the representative. That will be interesting to see what happens with that relationship. My guess is, and again, Tricia, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if we have any other standing committees in town that have a liaison. Is that something that's regular?
It is. It's regular for a few boards. I mean, they have a liaison list.
Okay.
They're supposed to, at the end of their meeting, report on
I see.
the committees that they're responsible for, so
Okay.
that
I wasn't aware of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So liaison assignments are typical.
Good. I feel better about that already.
Yeah.
So that's a good deal. Anything else I missed, guys, at the meeting?
I have a
Rachel
quick
has a hand.
question. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Sure can.
Okay. You had mentioned that we have a name change. What was that name change, and a little background on that, if possible?
Sure, I can speak to that. Racial is being taken out of our name just because the more common term is diversity, equity, and inclusion, because diversity is promoting equity for all types of people, not just on the base of race. So it was requested to be removed, and I didn't have an issue with it. Phil didn't either. I think you were asked to, Trish. And
I just said I finally got used to DREIC. It rolls off my
Right.
tongue. So I'm like, now I
right,
get used to something else. But
yeah. So now it's just DEI.
yeah, I like DREIC, but whatever, that's okay. It's if you
Right.
have an issue with it, I as long as it means the same thing,
I mean, in all, ultimately, again, to your point, Tricia, as long as it means the same thing, at the end of the day, the committee is going to do what it believes is important going forward. And if that's an issue that involves race, so be it. I mean, we're not, I don't see the committee as saying, oh, gee, well, we took that phrase out of there, so therefore our focus is going to change. I know that for some people, and I'm not looking to speak for Virginia or anyone on the board, but I know that for some people, including the word race or racial or anything having to do with that is makes them uncomfortable, and so it makes the conversations that come behind that uncomfortable as well. And so some folks want to change, they want to change the language, so it makes it easier to talk about. I've got my own personal feelings about that, and I'm not saying that that's what's going on here,
Right.
but I think at the end of the day, you got to kind of figure out, hey, what are we, what's important, what are we going to do, and does that significantly impact our ability to get our work done? And I don't think it does. So,
And it
Well, I'm
doesn't.
upset about it because Carly had such a nice little word for it. She called it the direct. I forgot how she said it. It was so smooth, so cool. It was a new name to say DREIC, direct. And so she's going to have to rework her conversation around that now. But I agree with what you're saying. As long at the end of the day that it's all about equity, equality, and our committee, I think, does a good job in making sure we try to cover all the bases.
Correct.
I mean, it implicitly means that we are going to have more of a focus on intersectionality now because, it's basically taking that restriction. I mean, we didn't have a restriction, but, if you have it in the name, it sounds like as a restriction. So now that we've taken that out, it's actually, sort of broadened our ability to be able to work on behalf of, all marginalized populations.
Being inclusive.
Exactly.
Yeah. Rachel,
Susan.
your hand is still raised.
Oh, I forgot to remove it. Thank you for that background and that explanation. One of the pieces that I had heard it really quickly, and I wanted to ensure that we still had equity in there.
Yes.
Yes.
It was a big piece that was sticking out in my head.
And you might have noticed I did already change the name because the one good thing about the name change is now that we're not an ad hoc committee anymore, we're an official committee. I created a separate committee in the database and so that it makes it easy. So the history from the DREIC is still there, and then the new committee going forward will be there as well. So they'll be listed as two separate committees. But I wanted to migrate everything from our website, obviously. It went along with the new committee name, so that's already been updated.
Great.
Susan, did you still have a question? Because your hand was up for a while.
No, I put it down. It was the same question Rachel had asked about the name change.
Okay. Any other questions or comments about the select board meeting? If not, we will move down the list to our working group updates. And I guess front and center is the Juneteenth team. So we'll let you guys go first.
Okay, thanks, Phil. So first off, Latasha pointed out to me that we have a lot of positive news that we can mention. We have Dr. Reverend Gary Palmer and Joseph DeVoe, the president of the Merrimack Valley NAACP, locked in as speakers. They have graciously agreed to speak at the event. We have all of our performers locked in. We have Cecilia Lund and Amy and Hailey, I forget the last name, but they will be doing another liturgical dance. We have the New Hope Choir. They're going to be doing something? We have them too? The praise team?
Praise
Okay,
team.
cool. All right. So we got our speakers and our performers in there. We've got a lot of good publicity when we put the announcement out on Facebook. And Trisha, thank you for putting it out on our webpage because that went out, through the news flash, and the patch Chelmsford Patch picked it up. And then we got contacted by a Boston Globe reporter who was writing a story on the planning and putting together of this, and has already interviewed Latasha. Has he already done the interview? Cool. Did he give you an indication of when that story is going to run?
No, but I asked him to send us a copy of it when it's published.
All right, cool. So that's there. We've invited Latasha had the great idea to invite Lori Trahan and
Small correction.
yeah.
Cherise. But we did invite Laura Trian and our 4 state reps to the event.
Oh, right. Yep, there you go. So that's all good news. We've made a lot of progress. We've got the physical plan pretty much locked down. And so there are a few more things we can give a little bit of a report on. So 2 things that I have to talk to Lauren about, actually. So Lauren, number 1, do you know how big your stage is off the top of your head?
That's a good question. I'm not mathematically inclined, but it holds about probably, let me think, probably about 10 people. I mean, it's pretty wide and big. It's in pieces, Brian. We're definitely going to need a truck. I got permission that we'll have people open it up. If you want to come to school sometime within the next week and a half to take a look at how you're going to, in the legs, see, it's different height legs that you can add to it. Right now it's on a movable dolly. Like all the stage pieces are sort of locked in and you can move that to a truck. So it would hold, several dances. We've done little scenes of at least 10 people on it. It's about the size of my classroom. I'm trying to think. Maybe 14 feet by 6. I'm sorry, I didn't find out for you.
That's
It's pretty wide. I mean, it's a good size, and it's got 2 steps on either side of it. And you can change the levels if you want. But I'd love you to come by and see it, and that would be the best thing.
Okay. I think I will take you up on that. So as far as getting it to the common, we are going to have the facilities guys come by and do that. I've spoken with Kathleen Canavan and she knows that it's coming. So that is
Great.
already going to be taken care of. They are going to figure out how to get it down there.
Yeah, they borrowed it for town meeting and they brought it downstairs to the gym where the town meeting is in the gym. And as long as they just return it, I'll make sure that Charlie Buffum at the high school is aware of letting us in and out. And if it's on a Saturday and we should return it right after, there's usually somebody there on Saturdays anyway, even though school's out technically. But I'll be there. I'll be there to monitor it and take it down and et cetera.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great.
But yeah, come by, Brian. So.
Okay. So I will take that up with you offline. The next thing I wanted to bring up with you is I sent you an email with the content of a couple of posters that we wanted to have printed out and put by our table. And I was wondering if you had any graphic design inclined students who would be interested in trying to put those together and make them look nice.
I don't. I can find some, but here's the thing. You had a lot of, when I read it, there was a lot of verbiage. There was a lot of words, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it was all words. So my husband's an architect and he has a plotter. Like he has because there was so many words, I didn't see how much we could do like a separate poster with the design and then have the words on either side of it. The way you had it, it was just so much filled with words. And the school only does 11 by 17 posters. So we can take it to a print shop. And my husband said he'll do it on his plotter, take it to his architectural print shop, and then we can get larger signs. So
okay, I mean so the original plan that we had was we were going to take that we were going to just get it printed at Staples, and so basically all we would need is an image that would look nice when it's being printed on something like.
Okay, I thought you wanted my kids to figure out the whole layout of the words.
No. I just wanted someone to do a graphic just do a graphic design. Like basically make an image that you could take to Staples and say put this on 24 by 36 and be able to take all that information and show it effectively.
Okay, so you don't want the words on posters. See, I misinterpreted. I read it that you wanted all these words on posters. You just want an image?
So I want 2 posters. Okay, one of them is going to be the text about Juneteenth. Right,
that's what I meant. So do you want us to do that? Because my husband said he could do it on his plotter and then print it out so everyone can read it.
We don't need it printed. We just need it designed.
I'm confused with how you design words. What do you mean design on Word? Like you want it in calligraphy or?
No. So, okay. So what I mean is somebody to do the layout, to say, we are going to have this paragraph be here and then this paragraph be underneath that. And we're going to have the image of the Juneteenth flag over here. And we can put the descriptive text about the Juneteenth flag there, and there. So basically just design the poster using, whatever graphic design tools people may have access to, Photoshop or what have you, and just, have something laid out that we can then take to Staples and say, here, print this on a 24 by 36 poster board, and then they give it to us. That's really what I'm looking for.
All right. Well, I'm not really good at Photoshop, and my kids tend to do quick little 11 by 17, but I can certainly go to the art teachers and ask them because they know Photoshop. So let me just do it now that I understand it. I needed to talk to you because I just saw a lot of text and maybe you and I can even talk out of this meeting like tomorrow or Thursday so we can get it done.
Sure.
I'll get it done. I just need to be clearer on it because it's hard reading an email. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, because there is a lot of information, but I just wanted to be able to be instead of just basically taking a Word document and blowing it up to 24 by 36 and just
Right.
slapping that on the thing, I want it to look nice,
Right,
have-
yeah, I got it. But there was a lot of words, so the
Yes.
question is like, I just saw so many words, I thought there's not even enough to put a design on, but we can break it up. I see what you're saying. We can break it up into multiple posters perhaps. And have a
Well, I mean,
section for it.
we really just we only really have room for like two, because what we're thinking is putting one on each of the legs of the canopy tent that we're going to put our table under. And so we're going to
Okay.
have a 24 by 36 one on one side, and that's going to have all the Juneteenth information. And then we'll have another 24 by 36 one on the other side, and that's going to have the DEI information with our mission
Okay.
statement and the QR code to the stuff, and
Okay.
and whatever else. So
All right.
so I'm basically just looking for somebody to be able to do the layout of those two posters with the, information that I gave you. I mean, yes, I
Right.
know one of them is a lot of text, but that's what we want to have. We want to have that much text available for people to educate
Okay.
themselves.
Are you
All right.
sure we need to have the mission statement on a poster? I mean,
I-
that just seems like that's more our directive. I don't know that that's something that we really need to, I mean, you're just trying to teach people about what we do and who we are.
I mean, the idea I had was just to have something there that, we got Juneteenth on one side, and then on the other side, here's what the DIE is, and here's
Mhm.
what we do, and here's our mission statement, and here's our QR code, just so people can have something to look at, just a visually striking thing as they're walking up
Mhm.
to the booth, just be like, bam, okay, here's the DEI, here's what we are, here's what we do, that kind of thing. If people don't agree with that, then we can do something different. I'm just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what
Yeah, I
sticks.
would just say visual, definitely visual versus a lot of text, because people don't read. They
Oh
don't,
yeah,
they-
yeah.
you know.
I
And
wasn't.
our
I
mission
wasn't.
statement, I love the QR code thing, for the anti-racism. We can do a QR code for the website too. You
Mhm.
can just, so
Yeah,
versus,
I wasn't thinking of doing a lot of text for the DEI one.
oh,
It's
okay.
just the one with the information about Juneteenth that sort of deserves to
Yes,
have a
that
lot of
does.
information text. So that's the one that people can stand there and read for,
Okay.
45 seconds,
All right.
whatever it is.
Brian, I'll talk
Okay.
to Alice and go over, Diane. I have a couple teachers that will help. And next week early, we do have a little time because kids take finals and people are getting ready in the year. So I'll be able to take care of it. Now,
All
at
right.
least I have an understanding of what you want.
Awesome.
And hopefully if you need me to take it down to Staples, I can try to do that too. But I'll let you send it. I'll send it to you before anything.
Yeah, Charisse has a way that she can get 65% off. So we were going to have her do that.
Oh, even better. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that thing. The next thing we're going to need is we're going to need another push for volunteers. I put out a thing on Facebook on the Chelmsford Social Justice and Chelmsford CHS alumni for an anti-racist curriculum, and we got a few more people, but the majority of folks that have signed up for setup. And so we have virtually nobody for helping out during the day, and we have absolutely nobody for breakdown except for like me.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely be there to help you break down, Brian.
Yeah.
But also, did you have a list of where the assignments would be and what the jobs would be? Because that's what I've been waiting for in order for me to recruit volunteers. I kind of need to know how many you need and where their assignments are going to be, because you don't want to be saying, all right, you go here the morning of.
Right.
So if you can get a list of what you need, what hours, where, and then we can start to fill in those.
Okay,
that
so
list.
I have a tentative schedule that I've written up. It's in the Chelmsford Juneteenth Google Drive, so I will send that link out to you guys, and we can start discussing it offline. So volunteer plan. So basically, yeah. So I'm going to need that. And Susan, if you could go back to the CARES folks once you get that schedule, and then we
Did
can see
you
if we can get a couple of them.
Did you see on the Chelmsford for Social Justice Facebook page, there's a few people who had said they could help?
Yes,
Did you see that?
they've all already contacted the email address. So
So
they're
you've got
they're
those
all-
people. There were
they're
one,
all
I
already
just
on the
need to
list.
know how many you need. That's all.
4 or
Just tell me
5
how-
on there.
Yeah, so I will get that. I will get that plan to you, Tricia.
Brian, I just posted on my civic action group and I'll ask some high school clubs because I have a lot of clubs. So, and I told them to email me if they can volunteer and then I'll send you their names.
Okay, great. All right, so that's the second to last thing. So the last thing is our plan for the food vendors basically started out fine, and then it has all gone to complete pucky poo in the last like 4 days. So we had 4 vendors that we thought had confirmed. 2 of them have since pulled out. So we lost Mill City Barbecue and we lost Farrah's Restaurant. We do still have Rima's Catering, and we recently, just like an hour ago, got a confirmation from Coco's Cafe and Catering. So we have 2. She wrote like 2 emails back, Latasha. Don't give me that side eye. She wrote multiple emails. She was like replying to multiple threads to make sure that she made sure that we understood that she was coming. So she has confirmed. Fingers crossed on that one. So the big question now is, do we think 2 is enough? And if we want to supplement, I think the only thing that we can supplement with at this point, Carly had the idea of getting food trucks that have already been licensed in the town. That way they don't have to do anything extra about filing for a thing, and they may not necessarily be Black-owned businesses, but at this point we're just trying to get folks there so that if anybody's hungry at the event, that they can go get something to eat. So what are people thinking about that? Do we want to see if we can get 2 more food trucks, maybe one entree kind of thing, and one Carly had the idea for like a Hawaiian shaved ice kind of deal, that sort of thing. What are we thinking here?
I think 2's enough. I think that food trucks, they have a minimum and they want to see big people, lots and lots of population coming to this event, and they usually have a minimum that you have to pay them. So I don't know. I think 2's plenty. I mean, for this event, it's not an all day into the night type of thing. So
right. So what you're saying is that the 2 vendors we have already would be sufficient in your opinion?
I think so.
Okay.
But
Charisse, what do you think?
You're muted.
You're muted.
What about a popcorn or ice cream machine, like an ice cream truck? That goes over well for all. And if it's hot, I could use some ice cream that day.
Do they have the same issues with a minimum, Trisha, or no?
No, ice
Okay.
cream trucks are easy to get. They're more than happy to pull up. As a matter of fact, you'll probably have problems with keeping only one of them there because so ice cream, and Mark, Mizzello at the Board of Health would be able to help you hook you up with the reputable ice cream truck.
I
Okay.
know that Jay Lang provided an ice cream truck for some of the schools recently. I wasn't there,
just
but
go through Mark Mizzello at the Board
yeah,
of
they'll
Health.
know. He'll probably gone through them.
Okay. Can you email me that name? Because I'm not
Mark at the
trying
Board of
to.
Health.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to spell Mizzello
No, that's
off.
fine.
I'm sure I can look it up on the thing.
That's okay. Awesome.
Okay, so we'll go with the 2 food vendors we already have, and then we'll look to get an ice cream truck or 2. I know I've seen the LA Dip driving around town plenty. Like that's the guy that always shows up at Friendship Park. So we can probably get in contact with them and say, hey, we're having an event. If you want to show up, it'd probably be a good idea. All right, so the vendors all know what's going on. Lieutenant Spence has been briefed on the plan. I briefed the fire prevention office on the physical layout plan. That's already been sent out to everybody. So these pretty much it. And so the main thing that I have left that I need a little bit more concrete details on is, Trisha, where are the tables and chairs going to be? I think we're going to want 10 tables, 9 for the picnic area and 1 for us. And then say 4 chairs per table, I guess. So,
Okay. So when you talk to Kathleen Canavan,
mhm.
I mean, most of the tables are here in our gym. Tables and chairs are here, but Kathleen is the one who would have to make arrangements. I can either put in a school dude request to have them move them, but as long as so you need 10 tables and 40 chairs. Is
Mhm.
that correct?
Yep.
4 chairs. Oh, because 1 on each side of them. Okay, gotcha. All right. Yep. Okay, so they should all be here at the gym downstairs.
Okay.
Do you want me to go ahead and put in a school dude on your behalf to request those being dropped off the morning? They might have to drop them off the night before.
Yeah, I mean, so that is basically what I'm looking to get clarity on, is where are they going to be? Who's going to need to move them from wherever they are the night before to the actual space the day of, that kind of thing.
Okay. I will, because I see, we used to use the toll house a lot to just kind of the night before drop things off, and then it sometimes is available and sometimes is not. So I will call Kathleen tomorrow and just let her know we need 10 tables and 40 chairs. And do we drop them off in the toll house and unlock it in the morning, or do we bring them into the CCA and bring them out? But your setup people will be responsible for setting them up. I don't know that we're going to want to leave them on the common overnight. So just,
Right,
you know.
exactly, yeah.
All right, I'll follow up on those for you.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I think that's all I had to talk about. Does anybody have any further questions for the working group at this moment?
No, just email me when you can come over to the high school to check it out.
Okay. Yeah, I'll sync up with you.
All right.
Joe,
Right,
you're
Viv.
muted.
Oh.
He said, never mind.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right. Well, then if there are no further questions, then Phil, Juneteenth update is done. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. Sounds like you got. I actually did have a quick question, and don't know, how it applies. Do you have any special requests or special roles from things that you'd like members of the committee who might not be on your working group, but do you need us to do anything, special in terms of manning the tables or filling in any places? Didn't know if you needed some additional support, from us on the day of the event.
If you guys are willing to help, please feel free. Let me know when you can be there and what you'd like to do, and we can slot you guys in. I think Latasha is going to be taking on the MC duties, so that part is taken care of. But we are going to need people to man the DEI table during the day.
Mhm.
And if anybody else wants to volunteer in any other capacity, we'll take all comers.
Okay.
I would think too that maybe perhaps if people are interested at being at the DEIC table, it might behoove everyone to kind of do shifts maybe so that
Yeah.
like one person is not manning it for 4 hours. So,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, if we can have enough folks so that we can have 2 people per hour, and then
Mhm.
rotate, 8 of us through, for that day. You'd only need to be there for an hour at the table, and then the rest of the time you could be off doing whatever else you wanted to do.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Brian, I intend on being there the whole time. So,
All right, thank you, Lauren.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I'll be there. for the
I'll definitely you'll be there for some period of time as well.
All right, great.
We're going to give Phil double duty since he's going to be leaving us. We
Yeah.
want to get volunteer work in as much as possible.
I'll do it all day by myself then.
All right, so that means we only need to have 4 1-hour shifts because we're going to have Phil in the one chair, and then the other chair is going to be the shift people working their way through.
Exactly.
So we're going to have the Phil chair and then the other chair. That's how we'll do it.
I'll bring a recliner.
Oh, there you go. That's a great idea. Get one of those canvas recliners, the really
Yep.
fancy ones with the fold-out flaps and all that good
Yep,
stuff.
absolutely.
All right. All right, we're good now. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Let's see. The next thing, what I think next was the International Day of Peace.
well, honestly, I haven't done much because I figured Brian was so busy with Juneteenth. So he's going to give me a good template. We did have just that one meeting, but honestly, I knew his committee was also my committee, similar people. So,
Right.
I haven't really
Honestly-
done too much since then. And plus
Okay.
Susan, right. So I'm planning on having a meeting very soon, but I kind of wanted to get Juneteenth done with, if that was okay. I wanted to respect
Yeah,
everybody.
and that makes sense. And I mean, there's certainly enough time between now and September. I mean, we've got, we've got time to, to get that nailed down.
Exactly. So that's that report right now.
Okay, Tricia.
I do have something to add to that because we're going to have to think about fundraising, because if the Juneteenth event does spend all of the $1,500 that we appropriated, that only leaves $337 in our account. So we have to talk about money for the Juneteenth event. For the International Day of Peace.
Yep.
And also, I can't really do it as a town employee, but I can introduce people to other people to raise funds. But also, I don't know if anybody saw, I did send the email today. I did finally get a response from Point Made Learning. And that's going to be a costly endeavor, but I still think it's one that would be worth pursuing. But most importantly, I wanted to pipe in right now because of the peace, the International Day of Peace, that we're not leaving a lot of money. So Brian, save as much money as you can.
Yeah. So we're not buying any balloons anymore because it's probably going to be too hot for those. So all we're spending money on right now are the honoraria for the speakers and performers. And the only other thing we spend money on are the mini Juneteenth flags, which I have already ordered. I called the company today and they said that they're going to ship on the 16th, and fingers crossed they're going to get here in time, because they said that typically from where they are, it takes 2 days to get to Massachusetts, but whether or not it gets through FedEx in that time is going to be the tricky part.
Okay.
So if not, then I'm going to have a lot of mini Juneteenth flags that are going to be sitting around my house for a year.
For next year, that's right.
Exactly.
Quick question for you, Brian. Do we need to reimburse Carly for the lanyard she bought?
Yes, but I
Is that
believe
one of your expenses?
I'm almost positive it is. Let me look that up. But if I remember correctly, that was all of like, it wasn't a lot of money. It was like, oh wait, that's the wrong account. Hang on.
It's
While
not
you're looking,
necessary at this
Joseph
time.
has
I just didn't want you to forget that expense.
No.
Did you do t-shirts too?
No, we did not do t-shirts. So what we did was Carly bought lanyards on Amazon, and then some like, little badge holders things. So we're just going to give people the yellow lanyards, and just going to print out volunteer and stick them in there and just have people wear those around, because the shirts would have been very expensive. So all right, so our list of expenses is $300 for the DJ, $25 for all the lanyards and stuff, $250 for the honoraria, and $366 for the mini flags. So that leaves $558.76 left over. So we should end up going through less than 1,000 of the 1,500 that we had allocated to us.
Okay.
That included the dancers. I mean, all the people that were paying.
Aaliyah Floyd, Hylian Amina Thurman, Cecilia Lund, and Reverend Palmer. And so that's $50 for each of them.
Is there anything we can do there as a fundraiser?
I thought we could have donation baskets, maybe.
A donation basket, or,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, or we could sell t-shirts. I didn't know. I just was wondering if it was an opportunity to sort of raise money for the next event.
The simplest thing I think would be to have a donation jar on the table. And
Okay.
we'll just put that on there and say, here, if you want to give us money, please, feel free. And if
Okay,
they
for the
want to,
next
they don't
event,
have
we
to.
can even mention the events we're going to have. Okay.
Yeah.
And Joseph, he can't, his mic is broken, but he put something in the chat to read. I'm not sure.
Can you guys hear me now?
Now we
yeah.
can.
Okay. I did receive the flag, the life-size one.
Oh, nice.
Nice quality.
It's beautiful.
And I'm happy to just donate that to the committee. So for future events, you have it handy. And the other thing I sent via email is that I did get confirmation from one of the vendors that was still outstanding from the South Shore Monarchs. They're a semi-professional basketball team based here in the Boston area. It's a minority owned. So he's going to be coming with a couple of his players to hopefully, create, bring some extra fun to the event. And he also volunteered to be a stand-in speaker if something fell through. So that's something we can keep in our back pocket, Brian. But I did let him know that we were finalizing all the schedule. So right now it didn't look likely that he'd be able to get in. But that's just something to keep in mind in case something does go right.
And they're going
What's
to
their
be
name,
in the,
Joe? South Shore what?
The South Shore Monarchs. They're from
Thanks.
I think it's the basketball league, TBL.
and they're going to be sharing the booth space with Thomas Leadership Solutions.
Yeah, so Dr. Thomas is actually he's a new owner of the team. He just acquired them like a month ago, so they're wrapping up their 2021 season. But it should be fun, you know, another business, another local thing. I think it'll really tie in nice with the whole event. But he said that a couple of his players were actually really excited to participate because they wanted to be involved with Juneteenth stuff. So it's really encouraging to hear that from people who really have no connection to Chelmsford, that they're excited to be part of it. So I hope that that's contagious and that other people will be participating and sharing in the fun.
Excellent.
I mean, you know, the bottom line is that this should be a hell of a party. So I'm really looking forward to it. Should be a really good time.
Sounds good. Any other questions, comments? Hey, thanks, Brian. You and your committee obviously done a lot of fantastic work, and we're all looking forward to it. So that should work out well. Yep. Applause. Let's see, Tricia, we'll have you talk with us a little bit more in a second when we get to the diversity training piece, and you can talk with us about what you found out. But the only other thing that I did want to mention, I know that we've been talking a bit about working with the Chelmsford Public Library to create some sort of, for lack of a better term, maybe some sort of a film series with them. And I think I had the last update I had shared that the library has access to it's a technology that allows them to stream a lot of different types of videos, but I guess it can support literally hundreds and hundreds of people, and I don't have a figure, but it's something that they are looking into to say, well, gee, if we could, if you want to work with us, meaning the committee and the library, we can come up with a list of films that might generate interest in it, and they can be from all different dimensions of diversity. But we'll set up the films and then try to arrange for some sort of
He's tied up.
No, read these in the door.
Oh, on the front door here?
Yeah, just don't, unfortunately, yeah.
Oh.
Lauren, you might want to mute your
Lauren, can you
microphone.
mute?
Oh, sorry. Someone's instructing me to do.
all right. So, but afterwards, having conversation about the film, we aren't sure exactly what it's going to look like yet, and I think the library also wants to try to do maybe kind of a beta test to see how they would set it up and how we might arrange having the conversation afterwards, because what we're talking about at this point is having perhaps someone from the library and someone from our committee serving as moderators or facilitators to help with the conversation and the discussion that goes on after the movies. So that's still going on. I think they want to do, like I say, a beta test maybe sometime later in the summertime, so that they can get all the bugs out, so that when they do formally kind of roll it out, they know exactly what's going to happen. So I think that makes sense. And I had a brief conversation with Maria, I guess about a week and a half or so ago. I told her I would follow up with her after this meeting. So I'll get with her to kind of see where they are and what they're looking at, in terms of time frame for, when they want to do the beta test and so forth, and make sure that we stay in touch with them. They know who they can work with going forward and figure all that out. So I'll keep everybody posted on that. Any questions or?
I think that sounds
Susan?
great, Bill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
great.
looking forward to
Sharice,
it.
you had your hand raised? Sharice?
Yes, I had a quick question, unrelated to what Phil was saying, but going back, it just triggered a thought. Did the select board decide whether they're going to do the diversity training? Was that talked about? Did I miss something on that? Was that something they're going to participate in?
We, we didn't get any, like a full commitment on that. The conversation didn't get terribly detailed. What we did is to share with them the fact that we took the training, that we saw that it was valuable, that we would encourage them to do the same, but also that there was some conversation amongst the committee about perhaps broadening that training effort, perhaps bringing in the town. So since there was no more detail around that piece, we didn't feel it made sense to get in too deep around the training, since it wasn't really clear to me exactly where we're going to end up with that. What we did say to them is that we've taken the training. We're encouraging you to do it. We're going to do it. We're doing it on our dime. You don't have to pay for it. We're going to pay for it. And we'd like them to consider that. I know that at one point, I believe that Virginia said that she was interested, and she said, "Yeah, I'm interested in the training." But to answer your question, Chirish, we didn't get any, formal, firm yes. We need an answer, or yes, we're going to do it. No, we're not. And we didn't really present the question in quite that way either, just to be fair. So we need to follow up with them on that. So maybe now's a good time for me to kind of segue into Tricia talking about the diversity, the training. Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't get to report my working group.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't skip over you.
That's why my hand was up. It wasn't a question for you. It was this. I just want to follow up and let you know that I did send an email to the assistant superintendent about coming to one of our meetings to talk to us about, their professional development and their diversity training and things. And I haven't yet heard from her. I do want to contact her again. I figured the end of the school year, she might be super busy. I'm just waiting to see what some of our future meeting dates are, and I will get back to her. So I just want to let you know I didn't just drop the ball on that.
Susan, I actually joined her professional development committee, and I'm happy to report that she's contacted a group called Ideas, which is out of Metco, and they're planning on doing training for the school committee and admin this summer, with the hopes of having 3 professional development days for faculty this year on this subject. So as we met with the woman from Ideas last week, and I'm sure Linda will be very happy to talk about it. So they're taking it very seriously. They did a survey of all staff, and the top 2 things staff wanted professional development in was diversity and also in special education. So she is going to be doing that. Okay. There was a meeting last Tuesday with a woman from this group called Ideas, and they have formal training. They do it in teams of 2, and they come and educate educators how to speak about, uncomfortable conversations on race, etc. So just to update you, okay? Because I know I'm on your committee anyway, and I have more access on a regular basis to Linda.
And what I think it was one of the meetings you weren't able to attend, Laura, and people on this committee would really like her to come and talk a lot about real specifics of the curriculum. She's given us some general ideas about what they do in terms of a class about racism, for instance. We haven't gotten a firm answer on if there is a class on racism.
No, there is not, because I've actually asked Jay Lang if we could get one, but it would have to be developed, I think. And most faculty, and Linda included, said they don't feel comfortable yet, but I think it is something that they're going to look forward to. But I do know that Stephanie Quinn and other teachers have worked on it. So I think it'd be great if we could get her to come to one of these meetings as well, so you guys could hear her.
Yeah, so I'll follow up on that. I just want to let the school year get underway and get some future meeting dates, and I'll get back in touch with her to see if she can do that.
Okay, thanks, Susan. Did I skip anybody else? Are there any other working groups that I unintentionally overlooked? Okay, if I didn't, then I would like to now move to Attrition. Just to remind folks, as we talked at our last meeting, there was conversation amongst the committee around looking at ways that we might be able to utilize some of the resources through Point Made Learning, which is a group that was responsible for the online training that we took. And I know that, Tricia at the time said that, she would try to take a stab at seeing how much it might cost to get some, kind of specialized support from them. And she had an opportunity to do that. So I'll turn it over to Tricia.
And it's very expensive, as I expected it would be. So, I mean, this was kind of going off the idea about your film series with the library, which I think is phenomenal. And that's a inexpensive way to get the word out and get people involved. And I think that definitely more of our efforts should be going into support the library's film series. But this would only happen if I was able to get a grant, to cover the cost, because this is very expensive. But I thought, because we were so enthusiastic about the training and what the kids went through, if we could bring that experience to the community and offer it to the town as a whole, I thought it would be a phenomenal opportunity. So I will pursue some grant opportunities. I may need somebody to pen it for me. Like, I can write it up and put it in the direction and kind of prime the people in advance. But I don't think it should come from the town clerk. Even though I'm on the committee, I still think it would be better if requesting any funding should, come from the committee, somebody other than me on the committee. But I do have some ideas, and I think it would be worthwhile to explore further. We had talked about doing it in late September, but the price that I got today for an in-person screening of the film is $5,000. Then if we wanted the film's director to lead the discussion, it'd be an additional $1,000. So it would be a substantial investment. And then I didn't really understand that if you wanted it to prefer the facilitator Skype or Zoom for the discussion, it was $2,500. I'm like, is that more? I didn't know if that was on top of I didn't get that part, but I can get clarification from this director of programming from Point Made Learning. But the bottom line is because of the expense, obviously we don't have a revenue source. But if I can get a grant, I just, wanted to see if this was something that we still had the enthusiasm for with the training. I think it would be a nice way to, if we do some of the beta testing with the library over the summer, and then we can get to a point where we've built enough awareness in the community to say, okay, now let's, go to the PAC and have this phenomenal film, screening, and then the discussion afterwards. So if I will keep you posted on grant opportunities, but I think that it would be a really cool thing. I know I want to see the film. And if I want to see the film, we all did the training, we all, there's no other way to see it. So I'll see what we can do about it. The other thing, Phil, we were talking about the training with the select board, is that I think we should send them the link and say, okay, here's the link to the training. If anybody wants to go ahead and sign up for it, we all, we'll reimburse you. You can pay by, online, and we'll reimburse you. But if we send them the link and then follow up with the idea that we might want to, do a community event around it, after they take the training, we can get their feedback on that and then pursue it further.
No, I think that's a great idea. I think that makes perfect sense. So yeah.
Yeah. And the film, that price isn't unreasonable, really. I thought you were going to say something like 10,000, but I know for us, with our low budget right now, it is a lot. But overall, if we had the resources, I think it's worth submitting the grant.
Yeah,
because it's very reasonable. I thought you were going to say 10,000.
Well, if we wanted to do the American Dream game for up to 25, it's $10,000. I was like, okay, I don't think we'll do that game.
Yeah, well, and I think the other thing to keep in mind is my guess is, well, if this group is like a lot of the other existing kind of organizations out there that focus in on doing training, in diversity. This is a hot area, and so people who are involved in this work are, charging top dollar for, access to this. And if they're any good, then of course they're going to charge it. So I'm not surprised when I saw the amount. I was like, it didn't surprise me. I figured that it would be, somewhere in that space, but. No, I think it's a good idea if there's some way that we can, get some grants or somebody gets that, that special scratch ticket and you know, and wants to share it with the rest of the team, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
People like to give to specific things too. So, you know, it's one thing if you're raising money, you know, in general, but this is something very specific. And like you said, it's a hot topic. And I think a lot of the people that contribute in our community are going to want to support anything that has to do with, you know, diversity and equity and inclusion. And so, you know, I think it's doable for sure.
Okay, great.
Trisha, I'm happy to.
I'm sorry, I was just going to pop in and say, and I'll keep you informed of what the school system's doing because they're going through a different company right now currently. So it'd be nice to be aware of what the education system's doing as well and maybe tie them all together, you know? Okay. All right, guys, I have to cut out a little early. I'm so sorry. I have another meeting too. So is there anything before I leave? When's our next meeting?
Well, actually, that was a conversation I wanted to bring up with the
Before
team.
we go up, Rachel had something she wanted to say though
I'm
about
sorry.
this.
I'm sorry. I didn't even see Rachel. Sorry, Rachel.
Oh, no worries. Trisha, I just wanted to let you know I'm happy to help you with that grant stuff. I've never done that process before, but happy to team up and
Excellent.
give any help there.
Thank you. You'll be my pen person. All right. Sorry about that, Phil. Go ahead.
No problem. No, the other thing actually related to meetings, I saw a couple of emails kind of going back and forth, and I know a couple of our members, you know, had some, questions about the continued viability of Tuesday night as the night for the group to meet, and it raises a good point. I mean, we haven't revisited our the actual meeting night since we picked it a while ago, and I think that there were a couple of members that had some not necessarily issues with Tuesday, but perhaps there are other nights that were better. So what I wanted to do was to touch base with the committee and see where people were on the whole idea of changing the night that we meet, or keeping it the same, or if that was an issue for some, or what. So I thought we might want to do that now. Is that okay with folks, or do they want to hold off until our next meeting?
Well, can I just speak, since I'm the one who actually sent the email and I sent it out fairly late? I don't know that everyone saw it. And what my email had said was that from the very start, Tuesday has been the least convenient day of the week for me, and I've been able to manage it, but it's continued to be not ideal for me. So if we could change it, that would help me a lot. If there's not enough people who can, it won't stop me from participating. It's just difficult. So I'm just putting that out there. My first choice is Wednesday. Tuesdays are not good. Thursdays are not good. Wednesdays or Mondays are better for me. So.
Okay, Rachel and Brian both have their hands up. Good.
I'll jump in. I just need to coordinate family schedules, so I have to ensure before we vote on it, if we have can we put a possibility on the table, and then I just need to see if I can get schedules to change slightly. Mm-hmm. I think I probably can. So.
And my question is, based on what we were talking about at the beginning of the meeting, we are going to be transitioning to physical meetings starting ostensibly with our next meeting, right? And so where is that going to happen? And, and is there a complication with finding an open meeting room at the location where we're going to be that's going to limit our possibility meeting space? That's the question I have.
Yeah, well, Wednesday nights are planning board, so we'd have to, if we were going to go Wednesday, we'd have to do alternating Wednesdays to what the planning board meets. I don't know what the fire station training room availability is, but that's a room that's underutilized, but it's through special requests through the fire department, which is not a problem. I just don't have the ability to book that room myself, but I can work it out with Anna. I mean, I don't know what your availability is for the other people, but I concurred with Susan that Tuesdays, it's my long day here in the office. So Tuesdays with a meeting night it's a long day for me. So I would love Wednesdays. The only night I can't do is Thursday. So don't know if anybody else has any other restrictions with their schedule.
Let me just throw this
I
out.
do every other Wednesday for me. Sorry, every other Wednesday, like starting this Wednesday, I have, not starting this Wednesday, but I have a leadership meeting, a church leadership meeting at 7:00, but it's every other Wednesday. So as long as that Wednesday falls on the other opposite of the Wednesday that I'm in my leadership meeting, that would be ideal.
Here's the other thing too. Do we need to meet every other week now? I mean, can we go to once a month like most other committees? They usually meet once a month. I mean,
that's the other thing. Yeah, that's the other thing. Well, it sounds to me, that, there are a number of things that people have to kind of, hash through before making a decision on this. So what I'd like to recommend is that, we start the conversation, people go back, look at their schedules, look at kind of where they are. Then at our next meeting, which right now, I mean, we don't have a place for the next meeting, correct?
Well, yeah, that's not difficult to do right now because nobody's booked their meetings yet. So it's,
Okay.
we're.
So our next meeting would be June the 22nd.
So,
So I guess the question is, do we want to book a room for June the 22nd, or do we want to just do our regular, via online, have people come together, talk about where they want to be, and
we
start?
have to do it in person. We can't do it 100% virtual.
So
we can have a virtual
next week.
option, but we have to meet as a committee in person. We can't.
No, I think I understand that. I'm just saying, is there some magic to us having to do it on June the 22nd, or can we come back in this forum, online on June the 22nd for people, giving people an opportunity to go back, check their schedule? Can't do that?
We have to meet in person on well, we can meet a different night besides June 22nd, but the next time we meet.
Okay, I just want to get clear.
Yeah.
Okay, next meeting has to be in person. Okay, got it.
Sorry, when you say there's a virtual option, does that mean some people can join virtually if they need to? The place needs to have a meeting room and the majority needs to be in person? Does it have a requirement? I'm fuzzy on what this.
The quorum, it's been so long, but I think as long as you're participating virtually, the majority of the people need to be in person. But you can still vote. I have to brush up on that. I'm sorry. I don't have that at the top of my head, but we have to allow the public to attend. So that's the difference. So we need to meet in person so that the public can participate in person if they want to. But that doesn't mean board members can't, be virtual as well. But it's an exception rather than the rule.
Out of curiosity, how does Wednesday the 30th work for people? Like, that's technically the last possible day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was that, Joe?
I'll be going on vacation at the end of the month. It's going to be super tough that last week. I mean, again, don't let me hold up. I'm just throwing it out there. It's going to be tough.
Are you,
23rd?
Well, I mentioned the 30th instead of the 23rd because the 23rd is my anniversary.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
And your wife would not appreciate you being at a meeting on the 23rd.
probably not.
Can you I mean, honestly, can we just meet the 22nd for this next, because that's going to be Phil's last meeting too.
Yes.
And it's Tuesday night. It's Phil's last meeting. It's really not up to him for us to hash this out right now with him because, and then I'll book 205, which is upstairs, if that's okay. And, we'll bring some cake. I mean, is that okay with you guys? Rachel has her hand up again, so I'm not sure.
Oh, I always forget to take it down. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I mean, can the majority of us meet in person on the 22nd?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Is it air conditioning in that room?
It's air conditioned. Yes,
Okay.
it's air conditioned. It's not a pretty room. It's definitely not a pretty room. If I can get 205, I will, but we're a larger committee than the select board. So with 9 of us, it's more comfortable in the big, they're just not pretty rooms. If I can get the fire station training room, I will. I'm going to try to book that because that's a nice room.
And can we meet at the CCA if we need to, if that's available? They have that.
Yeah, but doesn't she charge us money? I don't know.
Well, if that's the case, no. Okay.
Yeah, and
Take care of
Um,
that one.
just plan on coming to the town offices. I'll put it in the agenda where the location is once I find a room. But if I can get the fire station training room, that would be great, because
Okay.
I like that room. It's nice. But I will confirm.
Okay, great. Thank you, Tricia.
22nd.
So we'll wait to hear from Tricia on where we're meeting on June the 22nd in the town offices.
Yeah, and then after that meeting, after that, we'll decide, you guys can
Yeah, what you
think
can-
about what night of the week is better for you.
Mhm. All right. It sounds good. Anything else? Any other items of business we need to review?
Can we bring soda?
You can bring whatever you want.
Can
Well,
you-
almost.
No, can you bring pop?
No pop.
Can you bring pop is the question. Can you bring pop? That's what I want
Only
to
the licensed kind of pop, not.
That's what I want to know. Okay. All right.
We
Okay.
can meet afterwards.
Yeah, there you go. That works for me too.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll have a meeting and then we'll have fun after.
Sounds good. All right. Okay. Well, I am looking at the clock and it says 8:16 p.m. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second to
Second.
the motion?
Oh.
All in favor?
Bye.
Aye.
All right. Thanks. We'll see everybody on the 22nd.